We'll be getting into the conversation. I'm sure you've heard the Polytechnic Teachers Association of Ghana. They're threatening strike. I mean, now we're used to it. But what's new? On Facebook, a lot of you have even sent in your comments already. And Agbenato Nelson says, Potag on strike, lecture halls empty. You can also send us your thoughts via our social media platform, but we'll look at what the arguments are. Hello, good afternoon, sir, and thank you so much for joining us in our studio. Osei J, is it Osei? Osei AJ George. Osei AJ George. All right, yes. Thank you very much for joining us. What's the concern now with Potag?
Thank you very much to your viewers. Our concern now concerns the payment of our 2013-2014 book and research allowance.
But this is something that last year, I remember, the government did even mention that they were going to cancel it. But if you're going on strike on book and research allowance, I mean, you are practically not committed to anything. I mean, we thought it's your salary, it's book and research allowance.
No, it's not part of the salary. It's part of our conditions of service. And this is a negotiated amount. So as you rightly said, government said he is cancelling. But our stance is that government alone cannot cancel. It has to be negotiated. This even needs a review. And we, to the best of our knowledge, we are even thinking a review upwards. Because that's one of the proposals that we sent to government last year. But for government to just stand alone to cancel a condition of service, which Potag, and for that matter, all those concerned who qualify to take that amount, negotiated, I think it's unfair, and this is what the public needs to understand. It is part of our conditions of service.
Potag, you know, you've been criticized even by the public for being insensitive to the current economic challenges. All you care about is your book and research allowance.
No, not being insensitive. All other allowances are being paid. Government continues day in and day out to pay other allowances. So we don't understand why we should be singled out that an allowance which have been negotiated for should be cancelled.
But have you
just by government alone, not even negotiated?
Yes, but have you made? I'm sure. Yes, you're threatening to strike. But have you made?
Actually, we are on strike, not threatening. We are on strike.
Yes. Actually, the lecture halls are empty, and that's from Agbenato. Exactly. He says the lecture halls are empty, so you're on strike. But have you made proposals to government? I mean, beyond threatening, because when the time that students lose in class, they never get it back.
Fortunately, teachers always go back to teach when the strike is over. But let me get you this.
But I mean, you get to read this. You've not answered my question. Yes, teachers go back to, but I'm saying that the time that students lose, we never get it back.
Exactly. And there is always, the thing is that we don't understand why year in, year out, teachers will have to go on strike before a legitimate payment will have to be made. I think someone is not working. We, beginning of the year, reminded government that this is an allowance that's due us. Actually, it's supposed to even be paid at the beginning of the semester or in the academic year. And the academic year is ending in this June.
All right.
This May,
okay,
to be precise.
We'll come back to you in the studio, the National Chairman of Potag, Michael Osei Ado. We have Daniel Opoku also with the Ghana National Association of Teachers to bring us more on it, because NAT is also taking an action. Daniel, good afternoon. We'll try and get Daniel on the line as well, but you're telling me about this you have in your hands.
No, one important thing I have to add is that the book and research is part of our conditions of service, and we use that to be promoted. A lecturer needs to have publications through research to be promoted. So if government is taking out that, it means a lecturer will no longer be promoted. Government says it's setting up a fund. We are not against it, but what is due us that we use to be promoted, it should continue. There is no way government alone can scrap that. A negotiation should.
But I mean, the question I keep going back to this question about: do you make formal write-ups, proposal? Do you follow up on it before you put your tools down?
Oh yes, this document that I'm holding, we reminded government on the 6th of January. We wrote a letter reminder for payments. On the 17th of March, we repeated. On the 18th of March, so 6th January, 17th
and what
February.
Has been the response?
No response. No response
to the letter, acknowledgement of receipts. Where do you drop the letters and stuff?
You see, Fortunately, I'm the Greater Accra Rep.
Secretary. Okay.
And I'm responsible for dispatching all letters. I went there, all the ministries, Ministry of Education, to the Deputy Director in charge, to the Minister in charge, Labor Relations, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, NCT. None of them acknowledge receipt of any of those letters I sent.
If they haven't received, you can't accuse them of not responding to you.
No, not that they've not received. They have received our letters. I sent it personally. At some places I signed that they have received. But none of them acknowledge receipt of any of those letters we sent around.
All right. We'll go on the line and speak to Daniel.
Someone is insensitive.
All right. We'll go on the line and speak to Daniel Opoku, our labor correspondent. Danny, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Daniel, what has Nat been saying?
Yeah.
Give us highlights.
So Nat has been talking about what they describe as a field attack on the entire leadership and the rank and file of their members by Nagrat and CCC, that's concerned people. From last week, Nagrat has been raising concern that there was supposed to be a strike action between them and that. For that reason, they had a meeting to discuss how the strike action should happen. But along the line, according to Nagrat and the Coalition of Consensus, Nat pulled out to the discussion. And currently, DCP and Nagrat are on strike. Now, Nat that for some few days now they have been under attack because they have been accused by Nagrat and CCC that they are not so much concerned about their teachers, that they are anti-teacher, that they don't provide the welfare, or they are not interested in the welfare needs of their members. That's what Nat has been saying. Nat has described Nagrat as a mercenary group, saying that for them that they are not in a position to always go on strike action or embark on any strike, that would be unproductive to the teaching profession. For them, they believe that we are in the service to teach, and we always fight for the members, for the welfare of their members. That's what Nat is talking about.
All right, but Danny, even prior to this, you know, Nat and Nagrat have always had that issue. The National Association of Graduate Teachers and then the Ghana National Association of Teachers. Did any journalists put that to them, that perhaps could also contribute to their current position or the rift between them?
Now, interestingly, all of these teacher unions belong to organized labor.
Sure.
And the problem between Nat and Nagrat, more or less goes back to around 1997, 1998.
Absolutely.
Nat was able to defect and form its own group. But since then, they have moved on. When it comes to them, they say they have moved on to form a stronger force so that they could fight for their demands, so that government will be able to resolve some of their grievances. But with the coming in of this, what they perceive as attack on them and their members, it seems that Nagrat and CCC have a sinister agenda that they want to portray, to paint Nat in a very gloomy picture, to paint them as saying that for them they don't care for the interest of their entire membership.
All right, Danny, thank you very much. Danny Lopoku, our labor correspondent, telling us about Nat saying, well, they are quite sensitive to their members, unlike being described by Nagrat. In the studio, I still have the secretary of the Polytechnic Teachers Association with me. Here, Accra Polytechnic with me in the studio. And so your final words, now you've begun a strike, and have you had any response now that you're on strike? Have you had any response or still?
Not really. We've not had any response per se. Just that government goes on air to say they fund, but all that we are saying is that we have worked for last year, 2013-2014 academic year. The year
and that was when the arguments had come up about, you know, the whole termination of the allowance.
No. You see, when you owe me and you go somewhere to tell the next person that you are not going to pay, when you have not even informed me, we were not involved in all those kind of crusades that government was parading about.
So you're going to stay out till when?
So if government makes a commitment that today I'm paying you with evidence, we are sensitive.
Right.
We have our kids in school.
Thank you very much. What do you think about, to go to our social media platform, Facebook and Twitter, News on TV3 for Twitter or News on TV for Facebook, and put your comments. Do you think Potag is actually sensitive? Do you think even care about students? They are striking over their book and research allowance. They're also saying they are not against the fund being set up, but they want government to pay them their arrears. There's a lot more coming out here on Midday Live. Stay on.